Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Aliens Joy. Good afternoon. I welcome you. I'm glad you're here. I am excited to do this episode with you. My name is Elian. I'm a life and wellness coach. I'm specialized in midlife and transformation coaching and in health, fitness, exercise things, right? I hope you find me. I hope you reach out to me. If you're watching this episode today, I am going to talk about my word of this week, which was being fearless, living fearlessly. The word of the week this week was being fearless. And what does that mean? What does that entail? We're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to share some things with you. I didn't always know what that was to live fearlessly. And I'm going to share some things with you. I wrote a biography last year. It's called 60 Miles from Neiman's. And in that book, I wrote stories about self-esteem, about lacking courage, about imposter syndrome, right? That feeling that you're never good enough and that you can't live up to to the standards of society or what everybody expects from you, right? So I wrote a lot about that expectation feeling, about what it is to have that feeling constantly that you have to prove yourself or you'll never be able to, right? That kind of feeling. So I wrote about that a lot. And the last 20 years, I did a lot of work and help work, self study, right? The things that you need to do for yourself to get out of that past, the things that are holding you back, and to be fearless and I want to try to be bold and confident and courageous, right? And so these are all these synonyms of fearless, living fearless. How to be that confident? How can I be as and growing the space of the people that I admire, the people that inspired me, and the people that would motivate me internally? How could I be so daring and how could I become fearless in a sense? So I've been really looking to to dig a little deeper, right? What you need to overcome and what you need to look at. And it's not an easy thing to do. All the things that have to do with our self-development, they take time. So today I want to mention some of these key aspects of living fearlessly. I'm going to give you some examples, and it just means indeed embracing life without being held back or controlled by fear, right? And that is not so easy to do. Like I said, we have to do that sometimes step by step. And as a coach, I work as a life coach. I work with my clients many times on overcoming that self-doubt, overcoming self-esteem issues, and starting to live more into a space of being that bold and courageous, right? It's very important. So we are always having a tendency of doubting ourselves. That is normal. And if to overcome that doubt, to have that resilience build up and not let fear dictate our choices in life, that is what I want to talk about a little bit today. That is important for us to know. And we can come there in a place. I want to share some nuggets with you. We can come to that place to not have to feel that you are not good enough, that you are held back by by being scared. Maybe you are even scared of that. That happened to me a lot in the past, how other people would look at me, right? What other people would think. And I was trying to live up to those expectations of other people and trying to find out if I could be good enough. And that was one of the things that I worked hard on for myself, because I had to come to that place where I have to get a little courage. My story started in the late or mid 90s, 1990s, and I came to the United States, and I lost all courage at that point. I had and you can read that in my book. But to make a long story short, I had overcome, or I had gone through trauma. I had not overcome it yet. And a couple of small T's, big T's in a row in a sense of really not being able to process that well, and just being thrown in a new country. I was not courageous at all. I had no idea what to expect as a foreigner being alone in a different country, right? I have a support system, of course, in place. I didn't know how to confront life at that point. In my book, the quote is that life doesn't get any easier, you just get better at it. At that point, I wasn't good at it at all. And I didn't really have a vision for myself. I really didn't have big dreams and goals that I could set towards those dreams, right? The work that I now do with people is establishing where you want to be in the future, finding out how we can get there, and setting small steps towards it. So for me, that was a really, really difficult time, and it lasted a long time because I didn't know where to start. So in place of being fearful with people around you that you find, but maybe in the beginning I found them for the wrong reason. I was trying to attach to people, trying to get attention, trying to find a support system, maybe for the wrong reason. That helps a lot. That way you are not really able to maintain and sustain there in that place, right? You're not able to hold on to those relationships, and we make a lot of choices that come out of trauma, that come out of our past. And if we don't see that, and if we are not mindful of that, and we don't learn to be aware of that, then we cannot always recognize that. So that's a hard thing to do. So one of the things, if you want to be fearless, is having that courage. Living fearlessly just really requires, in the first place, the courage to confront your own fears and start taking risks. And that's why I just said I didn't know what it was that I was afraid of. And I also didn't know what I wanted. So I ask my clients that a lot. I know what you don't want, but tell me what you want. And in those days, I didn't know that either. So stepping out of your comfort zone is very, very scary. Unless you have a plan and you're a little bit excited, even have that exciting anxiety, like I always say, to step into a new place and to go somewhere because you know that that's where you want to go. You have a route, you have a path, you have a journey to take. And we cannot be that courageous and step out of a comfort zone if we don't really have goals and dreams or things that we want to change and that we're very aware of. Right? We want to grow. We want to just create maybe a different environment. We do know that what we have is not good enough anymore, or it's not working for us, or we're tired, or it's just simply tired, and we want to make a transformation in life. If that is moving, if it's a new job, if that is a diving in a new relationship, if that is taking on a very, very big challenge, right? Go from a job where you didn't like public speaking, maybe to a podcast, right? Those kind of things are scary in the beginning, and that requires courage. So that is one of the first things that we need to dive into a new way of living, or to dive into a new path. And that is very, very important. With that comes number two, that we have to embrace change. I am not really a fan in my professional work of using the word change. I like to use the word growth or path or new journey, but we have to embrace that change. And fear, not having courage, living in fear, often arises from the unknown, right? We just don't really know what to expect, and that gives us a bunch of anxiety. And we don't really know if that is good for us, right? If that has a certain outcome, if you're not really fully behind it, sometimes we're not really sure if that's going to be okay. And sometimes we kind of lose that faith, knowing that if things are changing, it's usually for the best, and we are making the decisions for ourselves, right? If we are having external changes, sometimes they're not really good for us, and we will see that after a while we were not able to control it. And of course, that is definitely the case with traumatic experiences, that are out of our control. So that is something for another show, but that would be something that we cannot touch. But if you are, in this case, what we're talking about, embracing change, you want to bring on something that brings the transformation in your life, then we need to go into that new space, right? That means that we need to be open to it, and that we see it as an opportunity for growth, that we know that it's going to give us a better outcome. The return on investment is better. So we might have to do work for it. We might have to just go through a whole lot of mess before we are there, but we already believe and we already know that is going to bring us something great. And so that is what we need to believe in, that it gives us a great and awesome outcome. And the third is that we have to have a positive mindset. A positive mindset, like I just said, it always has to do with knowing that we can still bring out changes, that we can still bring on changes, that we can still do things for ourselves, that it doesn't mean that we have to stop learning, that we are always evolving, that we can continuously bring on interesting, more exciting things into our lives if we're open for it. So we have to have that positive mindset that if we're going to dive into something, that will bring something exciting. I get excited just talking about it because I love small and big changes. I love challenges now. And like I said, in the days I was very scared because it all came from that place of fear, self-doubt, not knowing if I was good enough, trying to live up to expectations, being in a place of trying to please others, right? And if you are there in that place and you can't really see that that is anything good for you, that brings you a good outcome, then from that place you are stuck. You're stuck. And a lot of my clients are stuck. You can see that these glasses are slipping off my face. I have to laugh. So I'm just going to hold them up, right? Nothing to do about it now. Nothing I can do about it in this moment. So we just have to laugh about it. If we can change it, we have to laugh about it. So to embrace and to be open in a positive mindset to that new journey is, I love to do that with my client, is exciting. To have a positive mindset, knowing that you can do it, that you're strong enough, that you can put yourself into it, that you trust yourself. It's a big thing. Trust yourself, that you trust that you have done the work for it, so that you have invested a whole lot to get there. You have wrapped up your old job. You have taken on studies to go into a new place. You are making a change at work to embrace a new position, right? You're going to level it up. You've done the work for it. So that is very important to remember that, and to open up to that positive mindset that you have done the work for it. You know it. You're full of information. That way, it's easier to embrace this change. Then, of course, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I love that word. We have to build some resilience. And that positive mindset helps with building that resilience. The positive mindset is important, that number 3, because that way we're not dwelling on anything that we have to leave behind. We're not dwelling on the things that were. We're not dwelling and thinking about how good it was. So we have to go focus on something new. And even if it's not that enticing, how can we make it better for us? How can we make it more interesting for us? What can we do to take on this new challenge? What can we do, even if it's an external force? What can we do to make this happen and a little bit more interesting for us? So resilience, we have to get fearless. And we feel that resilience building up, that strength building up inside. And that resilience is, and that having that courage and resilience is the opposite of feeling doubtful, feeling fear, having low self-esteem, feeling that there's no confidence, doubting, your decisions, doubting your thinking, changing into or going back to that negative mindset, right? Living fearlessly means that you're bouncing back from any setback and failure. So even if you have setbacks and failures, and of course we have those constantly, like I said, you just get better at it. But of course, we have those, but you have to learn from your mistakes even. You have to learn from setbacks. And it's not always easy to do that in the moment. I get it. I was in a setback years ago in the mid-90s where I knew in that part of my life that I know now, looking back, that I didn't see anything good in it. I didn't see anything positive. I didn't see an outcome. I was setting myself up for more failure. I didn't see opportunities for growth. I couldn't make it happen. And I didn't have any outcome. I didn't see a road there. So in that sense, to build that resilience up it's important. In my book, I wrote about inner rebel. You have to find that self. You have to find that unique self, because that is what's building your strength. That is what's building you up, to have that inner sense of you are unique, you have something to contribute, you have a purpose. Whatever that purpose is for you, if it's your work that you love, if it's the flower shop that you own, if it's raising your children, if it's teaching our children, our youth, if it's helping others, if it's helping yourself, right? If you're excited about it, then you're in a good place. If that is just, if you say, I'm going to do a year of self-help and study because I want to come to that place, then that is a great, great starting goal. Absolutely. How can you make that happen to get into that unique space? And if you want to study that, and if you want to get help, and if you want to go to a life coach, reach out, right? Because we can help finding that space of your unique self. That way, with that positive mindset, knowing that you're somebody, knowing that you are unique, knowing that God made you, your higher power, anything that you believe in made you the way exactly that you are developing, that you're going through transformation in life. It is necessary, it's a positive thing. And if you can see that because you are growing, then that is the beauty of growing up, I say, right? When we're young, we think we know everything, but and everything is clear. That's what we say when we're young. Oh yeah, we got it when we're young. But I always say when we're young, you think that everything is clear. But when you get older, you have clarity. And clarity means that there is a meaning behind this, that you have a frame of reference, that you see things for what they really are, that now it becomes truth, right? So we have to have maybe even help or talk to somebody or find ways to build that resilience, bouncing back from setback and failure. And then there is self-belief. And it is kind of the same thing as I talked about. We have to build that self-esteem. We have to build that growth mindset. We have to have things that we know about ourselves, where we can actually fit in. For me, I knew what I was good at, but I didn't give it any value. I knew I was good in fitness. I've been pro fitness all my life. And in my early career days, when I started and I came to the United States, that was what I could do. I could teach fitness, exercise, personal training, help people. It was a great thing. I didn't put any value on it. I never thought it was good. I never thought it was valuable. I never really saw the outcome for other people. I never really knew what I was doing for others. I didn't see it. I just thought that, it wasn't special. It was just kind of okay and fun. And of course, that feeling was instilled somewhere, right? It was just me always feeling that I couldn't live up to that potential that other people had, and that I didn't see that I had and had. So it's a difficult thing to come out of that. It is difficult. So that self-belief is really, really important. And if you're still in that space that you think that you are not good enough, or you don't belong, or you don't see that value, in and of what you do and in what you do, then reach out, please. Because if you find support, then you can fix it together. That's great. We need support. That's why we're here. Win-Win Women TV, right? We care, we connect, we collaborate. We want to be out here to really help each other. And if you don't see that yet, or you think, I cannot find that in myself, I just don't know, I feel stuck, then let me know. Then reach out. Always challenge your own thinking. Challenge your own thinking. Is it because of the past I think this way? And how can I change it? Right? And so then you take action. That is the most important thing that I want to bring and talk about today. Having all these points, right? So thinking about all these points of embracing change, having courage, having a positive mindset, being resilient, building self-belief and self-esteem. Now the last one that I want to talk about is take action. Even if you don't know, what is being courageous? What is being fearless? What is that? Having no fear. I am working on that myself constantly when I speak to people, when I step up on a podium, now writing my second book, very exciting, 26 ways to get your sexy back on. So that feeling of going out there and just throwing it out there, I'm doing it. I'm taking action. I let go of being judged. I let go of the fear of being judged, I should say. I let go of just doing what other people are doing or doing what I think is expected of us. What even is that, right? What is it even that is being expected of? I don't know, right? I'm a wife, a mom, and a family member and a sister, and I love my friends and I'm doing anything I can for them. But my purpose, my goal that I feel is to inspire others and to help others live their very, very best life. A good thing when you are taking action is that you do have to dive in it. It can be a small goal that you're setting for yourself. Let's say that you're ready to dive into a new adventure, then a small step would just be making an appointment with the person that you have to see, the person that is going to be imperative to help you make that change. Just call, pick up the phone, just do it. If it's you building your self-esteem and self-worth and you have to lose weight and just, right, bam, we're going to go get a membership at a gym. We're not going to care anymore what other people think. We're not going to care anymore how we look. We're just going to dive into it and bring it into the moment, into action. Because you have an appointment with yourself, not with me. You don't have to do it for anybody else. You have to have an appointment with yourself to make this the best day, to lose weight, to start getting fit, to start getting your health back on, to get well, to start mindfulness exercises, to come into a more positive place of thinking, to work on yourself so that you can face the challenges in life fearlessly. That was my objective for today, to give you a little bit of that idea of being mindful. Are you fearless? Or are you still feeling that you're being judged and you let that cloud your judgment? Do you still care what other people think? When you get older, it gets easier. And that's why I always say, right? Life doesn't get easier, but you get better at it. When you get older, you care less. Now it's the time to be fearless, like crazy. Just dive into it like I did. I'm just like writing a book or speaking or going to groups to help out or giving information to other people and start lecturing and telling people what to do. Because if somebody walks away and tells me later on that they really, really, really liked that, they really liked the lecture that I gave, or liked the story that I told, or they learned something from my book, or a tip that I handed out, or a class or a session that I did. And if just one or two people come back at me and say that changed my life, point taken. then I am really, really happy. Right? We'll do it for the 2 people that come back at you and say, wow, I can't please all hundreds of them. So find your little spot to where you want to shine. Reach out to me anytime, right? That's what I want to leave you with. If you have a question, reach out anytime. You can work with me. First session free. If you mention this show, Eliane's Joy. I want to share my joy. I want to share my sunshine. I want to share the fun things in life, being grateful for the fact that we are up and about and that we can share this with each other. Let me know what you're thinking. So point taken for today, start diving into a new challenge without fear, living fearlessly. Living fearlessly doesn't mean you won't experience and feel fear, but you're going to challenge yourself. You're not going to allow that fear to control your decisions, or prevent you from living a very full and authentic life. I am Eliane Haan. Please reach out, elianehaan.com. Mention this show. Take a session for free. And we'll go from there. I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. And make it a wonderful day. Bye.